Hello, you are listening to Between Sets. This is Fuzz.
Mike.
Mike, you are back from your Holibobs. I hate it when people use that fucking term. I don't know why I just use that.
Holibobs.
Holibobs. How was your Holibobs?
It was good. It was good. I wouldn't say relaxing as such. It was not like we'd done a huge amount, but it was just something all the time, you know.
What did you get up to? Did you just chill out, or?
I'm officially a golfer now. I do golf.
And this is where the podcast ends, guys. It's been emotional.
Yeah.
Why?
So father-in-law and brothers-in-law are big into their golf. The most I've ever done is like crazy golf / pitch and putt, which is
not golf.
The
really.
very
like
limit of.
If somebody asks you like, what's your experience, and you say that, they probably would be like, "See, none." Then.
Yeah, basically. So, you know, we get there, we have to hire clubs. So I didn't know this was a thing. You can't just like share clubs. So if you and me was to go to a golf course, for example, you have to hire 2 separate sets of golf clubs.
Is in like they won't let you not do that?
Yeah. You can't play with just one set of clubs. It's either a money-making scheme or some kind of strange etiquette that they've got going on. But no, that's a thing. So that was number 1. Number 2, we get to the first hole, and I had no idea what to do. Like, compared to like...
Have you been to a driving range?
Yeah, years and years ago. So the first hole went horribly wrong. Second hole a little bit better. And then by the time I got to the third hole, it was all right. It was fine. I got a couple of pars on this course, which apparently is really good for someone that's never played golf before. So I'll take that. But yeah, it was all right. I mean, I quite enjoyed it.
I guess your putting skills would have, you got a bit of experience in your crazy golf days.
Yeah, my putting was actually quite good, to be fair. But the rest of it took a little bit of work.
You're no Happy Gilmore then?
No, I did consider a run-up, but it turns out just hitting it while standing still is quite difficult.
Yeah. How many times did you miss a ball? I bet loads.
Oh, it's not. So I've also picked up a small injury from golf, believe it or not. So my left thumb is just doing some weird stuff. Like I can't figure out what it is, but there's certain movements where I go to grab something or move something, and it just kills. And what I think happened was I basically took a clump out of the earth, and my wrist. So it's getting better. It'll be fine. You'll get there.
Was you wearing a glove?
Other than that, a glove? Yes, I was actually wearing a glove. Yeah.
Oh, I bet you felt the part there. I bet you were like, I am on the way to the pro league.
I mean, it had really been pissing down, and I was told I wasn't allowed to wear boots on this golf course, right? So I rock up in trainers. My trainers are ruined. They are caked in mud. I need to wash them.
How do you play golf on a bad field like that? Like the putting, you must have had to put like a lot of effort into the putting.
Oh yeah, and it also doesn't bounce. So when you're like a par 4 or par 5, for example, it doesn't bounce, so it just lands. And like I was losing a ball at one point because it went straight exactly where it was meant to go, but it buried itself in the earth.
It sounds like this is turning into a golf podcast. We need to move on from this. Like,
it's really not.
No, it's really
if I become a golfer, then maybe.
Yeah, that's not going to happen, mate. You're in your 30s. It's a bit late now, mate. It's like me going pro in football. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, it's easier than what I think a lot of people make it out to be. I will say that.
But it's boring.
It's
therapeutic. It's therapeutic.
Yeah. I think if you were to go, it's just like a nice day outside. You think of like good 3, 4, 5 hours just walking about. It's quite nice.
I will just get stressed. I'm getting stressed because if I'm not doing anything, then I feel like I should be doing something. And with all that walking and following a ball around like a fucking weirdo, I would just be thinking, right, I could be doing other stuff here, business-wise. Do you know what I mean?
Maybe that's a reason why you need something like that.
Maybe, or maybe I should just smoke weed. I feel like it's the same effect.
Yeah, maybe, quite possibly. But
is that what you did for the whole week? Play golf?
No, we played some crazy golf. We played some actual golf. I played a lot of golf this past week.
You're a
It's not
changed
something I
man.
would say. Yeah, who is this person? But other than that, I'm drinking basically every day. So I'm going to be suffering when I eventually get back into
Oh,
the gym. I think it's going to be a thing.
nice. Mike, the guy
Um,
who doesn't drink, is now an alcoholic.
yeah,
This
yeah, a
is
little
where
bit.
the podcast gets interesting.
I was doing a lot of cocktails. A lot of cocktails.
Yeah, I forgot you were a bit on that side of the fence.
Yeah,
No beers for you.
no, but the cocktails were good though, and they were. I was making some mocktails as well. They were going down a treat.
Mocktails.
It's juice. It's juice. I don't know
Yeah.
why they're called mocktails. It's juice. Like, just have something
Wait,
tasty.
where'd you
Like,
go? Fucking, you went to Bristol, didn't you? Somerset.
Somerset. Yeah. Somerset.
With your fucking mocktails. Jesus Christ,
Yeah,
Mike.
yeah. But we did go into Bristol for a day as well. That is like it's got a bit of a reputation. So, what's your opinion of Bristol? Have you ever been there?
Never been there. I know a lovely lady who lives there. But no. Like, she used to live in Bath. I think Bath's quite nice, isn't it?
Yeah. So Bath and Bristol are like they're next to each other basically, and I love
Yeah.
Bath. It's one of my favourite places in the country. Um, if I had to categorise them, I'd say Bath is definitely like on the posh side of things.
Hmm.
Bristol is very much hipster hippie, but I will say it's got it's got a nice vibe to it. You know, everyone seems quite happy. It's
In
quite
my
cool.
head, it's quite similar to Brighton. But
Yeah, I would say a similar thing. Like, so to give you an example, we saw a department store called Sparks, and in my head I thought, oh, this is like Marks and Spencer essentially, because you know Marks, what used to be called Marks and Sparks for whatever reason, I don't know.
yeah,
But you go in there and it's just an alternative
B&M.
hippie hipsterish department store. Like everything's recycled, all the clothes in there are like second
Oh,
hand or upcycled. It's quite cool. There's a bloke playing piano in there. There was just a lot of random stuff going on.
okay. Well, they're going to get
But
sued by
like,
M&S, surely.
oh, quite possibly. But yeah, it's just it's quite a cool environment really, because like loads of like the taller apartment buildings or flats essentially, they've all got like really cool graffiti, but like professionally done graffiti on them. But
Mm.
it just looks quite cool.
You are a very
And
different man. You've come back from this holiday.
I know,
You think
changed.
graffiti's cool. You're
It
hippie.
does
You're
look good.
playing
Like I'm not.
golf.
Yeah, yeah. It's good looking graffiti.
Mocktails as
It's
well.
it's
That's what's
art.
got me, mate. Fucking
I
mocktails.
wasn't drinking mocktails. I don't know if you can hear from my voice, but I'm struggling a bit.
Did you drink last night and then drive all the way home today?
No, last night I wasn't drinking, but yeah, the rest of the time.
Mate, like fair play. Like, that's what holidays are for. But
Yeah, so
like, I don't know, my perception of you was just like you were always like very strict and you can't switch off and you just like, where's Wally of like, do you know what I mean?
yeah, I don't know. A lot of the time I'm like that, but this time I was just,
You let
sod it.
loose, mate.
Let's go.
You went on a
Let's
fucking
go.
bender.
Yeah,
Fun
there's a lot of
times.
drinking going on.
I think that's
But
what you
what's
realised was, I think you discovered the gym was too far and you were like, actually, I might as well just make the most of
yeah, my idea of going to the gym just did not pan out. I did maybe one or two workouts, but
I'm starting to
the total
discover you are
distance.
human. You're an actual human
Yeah,
being. You're
I know it's
normal.
weird.
You
Yeah,
drink mocktails like all of us.
I mean the total distance. If you looked at it on a map, you'd think, "Mike, just go to the fucking gym." Jesus Christ! But it's where this house was located. It's so in the arse end of nowhere. Like to
Yeah.
give you an idea, we're coming up. I'm going towards like the main town, if you like, and a bin lorry's coming the other way. It caused carnage. Like you had like 5 or 6 cars having to reverse half a mile down
Oh, Jesus.
a lane that's like like a car wide, basically. And then the bin lorry has to get down as well. It's just mayhem.
Yeah. Did you drive in your car?
Can you hear that?
No. What's going
Good. Oh, it's just my cats digging a hole somewhere.
on? What is you and your
Sorry, go
fucking
on.
cats?
Oh, they've been on one since I got home.
What was I going to say to you? What did I just say? Oh, yeah. Did you drive in your car?
Yeah.
Yeah, at least you had cameras everywhere and stuff then, eh? Like,
Yeah, it was fine.
reversing through these one-way streets and stuff. Oh, I fucking hate it.
Yeah. The sensors on it do not like country roads though. Like you kind of pulling close to
Constantly
the verge,
beeping.
it starts shitting itself. Does not like it. But I mean,
It's
we
funny.
are officially two PTs on a podcast now.
Is that what we should be called? Two PTs on a podcast.
It's not as
TP
catchy.
TPOP TPOP yeah TPOP T-pop
T-pop. Yeah.
T-pop. That sounds like we're
Yeah.
part of a band.
T-pop. Yeah. T-pop.
Like a
T-pop for you.
Korean band. I'm good. Let's leave it as between sets.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
you are
So
officially qualified.
I am officially qualified, which yeah, it's weird. It's different. We
Yep.
move on, but yeah, I'm so caught up with Fuzzy Logic still at the minute.
Yep.
That but I do have a couple booked in for next week, and we'll do some floor time tomorrow, which is
Mm-hmm.
the thing is like what you with you playing golf, right? It's similar. I think I'm scared of just walking around the gym and just thinking I'm wasting my time here. Like I could be doing stuff, like I
Yeah.
could be advertising, or I could be creating some systems.
Yeah.
I don't
I
know,
get what you
but
mean. I mean, I think the way you've got to view that is your time in the gym is work.
yeah,
As long as it's relatively productive, Um, but you'll start to see the other side of PT now where you'll offer advice and they'll go, oh, yeah, cool. And then they'll promptly go back to doing exactly what they were doing before.
yeah.
That's
That is what
a
like
thing to
it
get
was like
over.
Tuesday where I fully was a PT at Snap, and
Hmm.
it was just a coincidence, but it was so busy that morning, and I just thought, oh, the cables are free. I'll hog the cables for a while, and I could
Yeah.
see people eyeing them up, and I went, oh, why don't you jump in with me?
Hmm.
Um, and then yeah, he was doing it completely wrong,
Yeah.
like really badly, like not keeping his elbow still whatsoever. So I was just giving him a bit of advice, and then
Hmm.
handed him a card. I'm like, hang on a minute, this could be the play here.
Yeah,
Why don't
yeah,
I just stay here, wait for people to want the cables, and then give them advice?
yeah.
But no, I
I'll get off
decided
my
against that.
cables. I need them.
Yeah, yeah. I felt like that was a bit of a like a scam move, but it was just quite funny how that was the morning that I was officially a PT at Snap, and then I all of a sudden just started giving out cards like a weird salesman. But that's what it is, isn't it? Being a PT is
It
it's
is.
just a salesman.
Yeah. I mean, from my experience, it's the first 1 to 5 clients is the hardest, I think. Because once people see you in there training other people, then it just starts to kind of roll a little
Yeah,
bit. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
So what have you got booked in for next week then? Is it inductions? Is it PTs? What's going on?
Yeah, it's just a couple of people that have recently joined Snap that are
Hmm.
after. So what I'm offering and only offering, because I feel like I have to be slightly different, which is ad hoc personal training sessions. Because obviously
Okay.
everyone's kind of jumped on this whole program side of it,
Hmm.
which makes so much more sense to so many people. But then I'm like, well, what else can I offer? Like, what's different? So theoretically, anyone can just book in through my website, and it basically just
Yeah.
gives you all the dates and times that I'm free over the next 60 days. You just pick an hour, you pay for it there, and then I'll meet with the reception. It's just literally as simple as that.
Okay, nice.
Um, but yeah, but obviously I need to build a bit of a reputation up and meet a few people. When yeah, no, it's good.
That's
I
good.
like talking to people anyway, so it's kind of
Mm.
uh,
You're going to have
yeah,
people pestering you now. You wait for it.
it's fine. I say that now, but we'll wait. Yeah, we'll wait. How's your flesh suit anyway? After that week, how was
Oh,
your pilot of a flesh suit apparently?
sorry.
But
That took me a second. I was like, what are you talking about?
for the people that
Um,
haven't listened to the last couple of podcasts, Mike went. I think it was within a week or maybe 5 days. You went to the gym
yeah.
10 times and did a workout because of a meme that you basically said,
Yeah.
"I am a pilot of a flesh suit," and you
Yeah.
kind of thought to yourself, "Hang on a minute, I will tell my
Let's
body what to
go.
do and what it's capable of." And
Yeah.
now
I mean,
you
it
are an
wasn't.
alcoholic.
Yeah. All things in balance. I mean, it wasn't 10 different visits to the gym. I'm in the gym quite a lot as is. It was probably 10 different sessions in 5 days, which
Okay.
for some people, that's actually not all that much either, I would say. But
Well, I'm struggling at the minute because I'm back on to bodybuilding again. So obviously, last
okay.
month I was doing like 3 or 4 classes a week.
Yep.
This week I've done 2 classes and been to the gym every day, bodybuilding again,
Hmm.
weightlifting. And it is tough because like yesterday, I said to myself, right, I'm not leaving this gym until I can't literally walk. Like, I don't want to be able to wipe my ass in the morning. I want to just, I mean, like, I don't deserve to. I deserve to walk around in my own shit.
Yeah.
So I left the gym yesterday and I was really struggling. And then I had a HIIT workout this morning. My
Yep.
legs were so stiff. So I said, right, I'll go to the gym half an hour beforehand and just walk on the treadmill for half an hour and see what happens. And now I can't walk or sit up or get off the toilet or anything. Like, it's tough.
I mean, the thing is, you'll actually feel better tomorrow having done that. Your legs would have felt worse tomorrow if you didn't do what you did this morning.
Yeah. And I've walked the dogs twice today just to try and keep them active. But
Yeah.
God, it fucking hurts.
Have you stretched?
Yeah. I don't think there was much of a stretch after the workout, to be honest with you, but I had to head back.
Okay. Yeah.
And obviously it's harder to stretch once you've cooled down. Anyway.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah. I mean, I normally, if my legs are really, really feeling it, I will go the route of trying to stretch after my leg workout, number one. But then in the evening or the next day, I'll have hot bath and stretch directly after as well. So I'm warmed up that way. That works quite well, I find.
I can't remember the last time I had a bath. I won't lie. I'm just too impatient. It's just
I
takes
like
a
a
long
bath.
time. I love a bath, but I'm struggling to switch off. I don't think I've had a bath yet this year. No, I haven't.
Mm.
Like I just struggle. Like, what do you do in a bath? Like, I used to love a bath. Just stew like a
in your own filth.
Exactly. Yeah. But now I'm just thinking, right? Can I bring my laptop in with me and do a bit of work? Like, will I die? Probably. I probably will die.
Yeah, I think you need to go the route of finding that balance now, because you've been.
Yeah.
It's been on a little while now, right?
Yeah. As if just a few things that I need to incorporate this week to try and. So I've built this system where it kind of filters the bullshit. I don't know if my listeners that are listening and considering being a client of mine, I don't want you to be turned off by this, right? But
be turned on by it.
But fuzzy logic, obviously, I have the knowledge of like using technology, right? So I'm creating a system where people try and talk to me that have not talked to me before on anything like Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, WhatsApp, or whatever. It'll go straight through a chatbot system, and it will use like AI to with certain keywords that they're asking, like, "Can I book a session with you?" And AI will respond instantly, going, "Yeah, you can book a session with me. You can use this website, blah blah blah." Do you know what I mean? Or like how much your session's worth, and it will tell you straight away. Like, because I'm getting quite a few queries with fuzzy logic and PT in, and it ends up nowhere, and I'm just wasting time.
Yep, I get that.
So I'm putting that in place. That's not a quick thing. It'll probably take a whole weekend to do, but I've created it. Yeah, and putting it in place now.
Yeah, I get that, and that is valuable. I will say that I've had people who have inquired a few months ago, and then they'll send another message. Oh yeah, I can't wait to get started. I'm like, dude, we're 3 months down the line. Like,
what's quite handy with that as well is it's good for the newsletters that I'm doing. So if somebody wants to like sign to a newsletter, I can just put a post out on Instagram and say, if you want to receive a newsletter, just respond with newsletter in the comments, and it will comment back instantly with a link to sign up to the newsletter, or it can like trigger a DM to them and say, let us know your email address. And once they've put their email address in, that email address will instantaneously go onto my address book. You know, let's make fuzzy logic, yeah? Fuzzy logic is the future. Yeah. I'm just trying to streamline all my admin now whilst I can before I'm way too busy.
It makes sense. And it's a good way to go. If you can get your processes down from the get-go, your life is just so much easier. Like, I don't know if it's probably around the same sort of time. You probably remember when you just signed up with me and I was making the change from the initial app I was using across to the second one.
Yeah.
That took a lot of time because I was migrating clients as well as migrating workouts, setting up new workouts for the ones that I couldn't directly transfer across, and had to set them up again, set up all the payment systems. That was a good solid couple of weeks of work moving all that across.
And all that lot, like, that gives people, like, clients opportunities as well to, like, leave. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so it's quite a risk as well.
It is a risk, absolutely.
But it's a long-term gain, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly that. And now the systems that I am using are much better. They're really benefiting the way that I do things, and everything's very much automated. like clients receive messages every now and again say, make sure you do this, make sure you do this. Like getting those set up, it just makes my life a lot easier generally.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to being able to have that, like, be in the position of joining a PT app. I just don't feel the need for it now, like, especially if I'm not offering programs. But I'm sure I'll definitely need it down the line. Like, people are going to want some sort of app, and then I just know I'm going to be like, well, if I've got time, I might create one. But it's just saves so much time just to sign up to one.
I mean, the other one to think about, and it's a request that I get quite a lot, is, oh, would you be able to write me a program for X? I'm trying to do this. And the majority of the time I turn around and say no. Because realistically, what you're going to get is a science-based program, which is essentially going to tell you to do these exercises for these reps, for these sets, which you can find online. So you may as well go and find it online. What
These
matters is the
clients you're
context that you're
saying
giving them.
about, or just like they want a free program with not even being a client.
No. So these will be people that I know from the gym that they'll drop me a message on Instagram and say, would you be able to write me a program or a diet plan for, I mean, diet plans are a little bit different because you can be very specific of what's needed, but certainly training programs, what I'm writing down in terms of a program is largely similar to what you can get an AI program to write you, or you go and find something online. What matters is the application of those exercises in the program and how you're going about the sets. And that's where in-person training is so much more valuable, in my opinion, than just online coaching, for example. It's the context of that thing. And, you write a program for someone, they'll say, oh, well, so-and-so wrote me this program, but it hasn't done anything for me. Well, maybe, yes, maybe no, but I know I can give that to another person who I train actively and they'll make great progress. So I actively turn around and say, no, sorry, I'm going to turn down this money because it's not worth it. It's not worth your time.
Like, I shouldn't be saying this because obviously we're trying to be PTs here, but Giant from Gladiators has just released an app last week. He's been working on it for ages, I think over a year. And it uses AI to write programs and stuff. So you just basically tell it what you want to do, what your weight is, blah, 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 all the metrics under the earth. And then it creates a program for you automatically. So there's no personal touch there. And that's £20 a month, by the way, which I guess for some people is okay. It's probably better for you than Weight Watchers, I won't lie, because it's just using calorie deficit rather than points and sins. But there's no one holding you accountable. There's no one showing you the form. It's just a guy on a video, and that's kind of all you're getting. Which is if you've got the self discipline and if you've got the experience of used to be a gym rat, for instance, then I would recommend that. But if you've not, if you've been going to the gym for a little while and you're not getting anywhere, that app's not going to help you. What you need, unless I did a video the other day when I introduced myself for the Snap Fitness as being one of the new PTs, is I said the first thing that I did when I joined the gym is get a personal trainer. And that's the one thing that I think people fail on when they join a gym. They don't realize the importance of it, even if it's a short-term thing, even if you're only talking 3 to 6 months. You need that.
Learn.
Yeah, you need to create a habit, and that habit is only you need a personal trainer. You need somebody to hold you accountable. You need somebody that's going to see the progress, because you're not going to see the progress. You're not, unless you're taking steroids. You're never going to you have to take photos of yourself to before and after. That then only then will you see progress. You see yourself in the mirror every single fucking day. Do you know what I mean?
100%. Yeah. In terms of physical changes, it's a significant amount of time before you notice a change.
Yeah.
But if you've got somebody actively tracking your metrics, body weight changes, body fat percentages, if you're measuring arm size, leg size, whatever it happens to be, as well as body weight, then you can say, okay, look, from month 1 down to month 2, look at these changes we've seen already. You're not noticing them because you're looking at yourself all the time. But it makes a big, big difference. It really does.
It is, yeah. And obviously after a month, that's when most people quit. And having a personal trainer, you are a lot less likely to quit. Like they say, I was looking into the metrics the other day, you're 50% more likely going to hit your goals with a personal trainer than if you're just by yourself.
Yep.
And it's and that's where I was on about, what do you want to invest in? Do you know what I mean? Do you want to invest in your health, or do you want to invest in earning more money? What's more important? Is more money going to make you live longer? Is more money going to help you, interact with your children when they're older? Is more money going to win you the dad's race at sports day? No, it's not. Like, what is his health? And that health is going to give you an extra 10, 15 years in your life. You can't buy
100%.
that. You can't buy 10 years of your life. It's not like a whole credit system.
Yep. Yeah, I
Anyway,
mean,
so I'll shut
I
up
agree
now.
completely.
I sound like a PT now, don't I? I sound like I know what I'm
A
talking
bit.
about.
But it's little things like, again, I'll relate this back to golf because that's what I do now. Um,
You
so
fucking golf wanker.
we hired these clubs, right? And they gave us the golf bag. There's probably a correct term for that, I suppose. Golf, but what you put your clubs in,
Buggy.
basically. No, it wasn't a
Is it a
buggy,
buggy?
but this is my point, right? So there was no strap where you can carry over your shoulder. It was just a handle, right?
Do it have
So
wheels on?
no, you just carry it. Now, the guys that I was playing with, they were really struggling after like a few holes just to carry these clubs because they don't do any
Oh,
kind of weight training or anything like this. But for me,
yeah.
it was I'm just walking along. This is
Yeah.
fine. But even the next day, they were saying, "Oh, my shoulders really hurt, my back hurts." I'm like, no, this wasn't heavy. They're not heavy.
And you're like, my thumb fucking hurts.
Yeah, I've just smashed the floor with my hand. Um, yeah,
That's funny. I
poor
think, is
technique.
it
I should
me or
have
am I
got
really
should have got.
bright? I need to turn this off, don't I?
Oh, that's worse.
There we go. Is that better?
There you go.
Better.
Yeah. Yeah, I should have hired a golf trainer. That's what I should have done. Get that technique down from the
But
get go.
that's it. Like, do you, yeah, like if there's something you want to get into, then 100%. But like
Yeah,
just for a quick round of golf for funsies, there's no
yeah.
point in having a. But it sounds like you want to take this on the road.
It was quite enjoyable. I'm not going to lie,
There's
but
one
I
in
just don't know
Sittingbourne. Why
where.
don't we go to the driving range one day?
Yeah, we can do that. I mean,
That took you a long time
I
to answer. I feel like you don't
for
want to
me,
go golf with
I
me.
don't know. I don't know where I'm going to have the time for this because I work six
Yeah.
days a week, generally speaking, and unless I'm going to go kind of after work when it like provided it's still light out, based on this country. Um, if it's weekends, that leaves me Sunday, which I genuinely want to try and relax and do as little as
Well,
possible.
golf is quite relaxing, though, isn't it?
But then I go airsofting on Sundays as well. So
That's not
yeah,
relaxing. Sorry.
it's not. No, that's a workout in itself.
But
So
we'll
I don't
go
know. I'm
golf for
thinking
you,
about
and
it.
then we'll go play basketball for me. Deal?
Oh Jesus, you don't need to see me playing basketball.
No? Okay.
I do not do well with ball sports. I'm
Golf
okay with rugby.
balls? It's a ball?
Mm,
It's a.
yeah, you know that film White Men Can't Jump?
Yeah.
I can jump. I just can't play basketball.
They should make a new one. Black people can't play golf. That sounds like a good movie to watch.
It's just
To be
Tiger
fair,
Woods.
Tiger Woods, yeah, Tiger Woods is probably
Yeah.
the goat of golf. To be fair, but
I mean,
it's a very
yeah,
white
but
man
he,
rich sort of sport, isn't
yeah,
it?
100%. But he's the only one, I'm pretty sure.
Is he really
I think so. I mean, I think
in the
there's quite a
world?
few. I think there's quite a few Asian players who've done reasonably well. Again, I'm talking about my house. I don't know golf.
No, yeah, I
It's
don't. I
mostly
think it's
just
watching golf's
Americans.
worse. Like
Yeah, I could never
hours
watch
and
it.
hours.
Well, I have the same thing with people who watch Formula One.
Yeah, every
Now,
time my
I
family
can get it.
goes on about it, they go, "Don't
Yeah,
spoil it. I'm going to rewatch it." And I'm like, "What are you on about, mate? What's the spoiler?
rewatch
Is
it.
cars go vroom? The end." Like,
I can kind of understand it if you're watching on TV because you've got loads of different camera angles and you're seeing the race kind of progress. But you are watching these incredible drivers with very fast cars hitting every corner perfectly. Like it's largely the same thing constantly.
yeah,
Let's just be honest, right?
it's like
Now,
what 60 laps.
oh, I don't even know. It's mad. It goes on for a long time. And don't get me wrong, it's very, very impressive what they do, and they are the best in the world at what they do. But can you imagine going to see that in person? Because you're sat watching the same
Yeah,
corner, and all these drivers are hitting that corner perfectly for all of about a millisecond, and they're gone.
exactly.
You know, they're
Yeah,
hitting these
and that's
corners at like
you.
140 mile an hour, and you're seeing nothing. What's the
Yeah,
point?
I'm not sure if there's screens, but like if there are screens, it's going to be a very limited sort of view because there's
Watch it at
seats around
home.
the whole.
Watch it at home.
Yeah,
What's the difference? I
it's
have the
just so
same
I
thing
can
with
go
tennis. Like
back and say,
if
"Oh,
you
there, I was
like,
there."
you get people who go to watch tennis in the court, right? Fine, I get that. That makes sense. But then you get the
Yeah,
people that don't get tickets to be in the courts. They get tickets to be outside the court watching on a big TV.
I don't think that's ticket. Actually, I think you can do that for
Oh,
free. I'm pretty
okay,
sure.
no, okay, fair enough. I understand it then. The cheapskate in me understands that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can go there for free, and then there's like a limited amount of access, so you got to be there quite early on. We're on about Wimbledon now, aren't we?
Like
On
Henman Hill or
Henman
whatever
Hill,
it is.
yeah, that's it. Yeah. Pretty sure that's free. I could be wrong.
Also, why did he have a hill named after him? He was pretty crap. He never did well.
He was really good until obviously Murray came along and we realised that we could actually win Wimbledon.
There's no Murray Hill, is there?
There's not, but he's not actually English, is he? He's Scottish.
Or
so
Murray Mound? Is that better? A bit
Murray
worse,
Mound.
actually.
I think they did call it Murray Mound, actually. I think they
really?
did call that. Yeah, I think they did rename it a couple years ago. I don't know.
Brilliant.
But yeah, that does ring a bell. Anyway, I don't know why we've gone onto tennis all of a sudden. Actually, my mate invited me to tennis the other day. I did say I would go with him. Look, I just can't say no to things. That's what my problem is, and that's why I'm so busy.
When was the last time you played tennis?
A couple of years ago. No, actually, probably 5 years ago.
That's another sport. I'm no good at tennis.
So I don't mind tennis, but I love badminton. Badminton's a good sport.
Yeah, badminton's quite fun. Squash makes you feel like you're going to have a heart attack. Like that is.
I can't play squash without running into a wall constantly. I don't know how people play squash in that tiny little cage.
I mean, I don't think you should play squash based on your Achilles tendon either, to be honest with you, because it's very much springing constantly.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to do that again, do I?
No, that would be bad. But it's just knackering, that sport. Like, people die playing that sport.
It is, yeah. It's just, I just don't understand why. I don't know. It's just, how do you not run into a wall? Because you're constantly chasing this ball like a fucking cat with a laser, and you have to hit it before it touches the ground again. But it's just about to hit a wall because you're in a tiny little plastic box. I don't know. To me, it's just not much of a sport.
Bounce off it. Be the panda.
Be the panda. You with your. Be the peach. What have I got written down here? Oh yeah, I don't know how I'm going to put this into context at all. Right?
Go on. Well,
we had friends come down. We had friends come down last weekend,
right?
And I was just like, and they wanted to. It was a very last minute decision. We ended up ordering a takeaway, and I'm just thinking to myself, you've ordered way too much Chinese when even your car thinks it needs a seatbelt on. I drove home for 10 minutes with the fucking beep, beep, beep. And I'm like, what do I do? Like, I'm not going to,
As a minimum, that is the weight of a small child. That's what it recognises. That's like, what, a couple of kilos worth of Chinese food?
Oh, yeah. I'd say the most we've ever ordered. It was like 80 quid. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is like, this is mental. You've ordered too much Chinese when they give you 4 free bags of fucking prawn crackers. I'm like, 4 free fucking bags, mate. There's only 4 of us, a bag each.
Yeah. Where did you get it from?
Quans in the Meads. We've always used them. They're really good.
Okay.
But they don't do deliveries. They're not doing deliveries over the next 3 months. I'm not sure why. I really wanted to ask why, but
you need to try the one that I told you about. You need to try it.
I think we did, and Becca didn't. My wife didn't like the chicken balls.
Your wife's wrong.
No, wait, did we? No, we did, didn't we? No, we did enjoy it. I messaged you, didn't I? Actually, I did message you.
Yeah. So what? Yeah. Why would you not get it from there again? Then?
I don't know. We're loyal.
They deliver.
We're loyal to ones. Yeah, I forgot. What's it called again? Do you want to give me a shout out? RNA. See, RNA does not sound like a fucking Chinese, does it? It sounds like
I mean, if they, on the very rare chance that they do happen to listen to this, give me free food.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep going with it till it happens.
Maybe we should do a shout out. Do you know what, right? So Matt Sims, who we had on a few weeks ago, right? He obviously he's a full-time podcaster, and he offers like classes for like businesses to how to get lean, etc. Anyway, he goes to so many networking events, probably 3 a week as well, right? And he vlogs it. And what he's recently started doing over the last 4 weeks is a coffee review, and it looks very professional. I'm not sure if we discussed it on the podcast.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we touched on it briefly.
Yeah, but it's going so well that actually he's getting free coffees out of it now. So every time he goes somewhere, they'll give him a coffee for free, and they'll ask him to review it, and he's like, no. Like, see the review on LinkedIn. Do you know what I mean? It's quite funny.
Yeah.
But that's it. It's just consistency.
Maybe that's what we need to do.
Yeah. We need to check out takeaways and rate them.
Yeah, an in-person podcast while we get get a takeaway in.
But it's not really very PT-like, is it? Ordering takeaway each week. I don't know about
I just spent the last week binge drinking first. I mean,
that. Exactly. You need to detox for the next few months, mate.
it's fine. What's the worst that can happen?
The thing is, I know your clients listen to this, and they're going to be like, if Mike can do it, I can do it.
The thing is, I'm 100% honest with my clients. Like, I'm never going to be the person or the PT to say, "Oh, don't
Yeah.
you have those drinks? Don't you have
Oh,
that
no,
food?"
yeah. It's sustainability,
Crack on,
isn't it, at the end of the
crack
day?
on. It's all balance, and
Yeah.
I want to balance Chinese food in my face.
In my face. Oh, God. Talking of which, right, I've never heard of this term before, and it came up somewhere. I can't remember where it came up.
Mm.
But have you heard of a Mevening? I think it's like a
Say that
very
again.
generational thing. A, a Mevening. It's an evening by yourself. A Mevening.
What?
I know. I felt so old.
Why does
Like,
that need a word?
I know. But saying that, do you remember when we were like kids and like people would just shorten words for no fucking reason, like miss out vowels in their text messages? I think this was
But
back
that's
when
making it
you had to.
worse.
You remember
They're
when you had
making
to
the word
pay?
longer.
You had to pay for an extra text if it was more than like 108 characters. Do you remember that? Back in the
Yeah.
Nokia 3310 days. But nowadays, yeah, they're just making that word still. And I'm like, mate, it doesn't matter. Like, you're not saving any money. Just say an evening by yourself. Also,
God.
have you heard of the term a floordrobe?
This is
A
just clothes on
floor,
the floor, is it?
yeah, it kind of makes sense, doesn't it, right? But that's a term. And I'm like, you can't, like, you're just making shit up now, really. But actually, you're just being a like, lazy prick. That's what you are. Like,
Yeah. I'd call them twants.
but it just made me feel so old because I'm like, I've never heard of any of these phrases, and these guys are just having conversations about it, and I'm like it's a normal word. It could be in the dictionary potentially. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not getting that.
Maybe we're in the wrong. Maybe we're the weird ones here. Maybe
I
this is
think we
just
are.
it's a
Yeah,
thing.
we have wardrobes like people do.
Yeah. I'm not a scruffy fuck.
To be fair, I've been so busy recently. I do feel like slightly relatable to the floordrobe shit.
You might say you need a Mevening to tidy up.
I see what you did there. Two birds, one stone. That shit.
Yeah.
But you know when I've not had time to do any washing, so the washing
Yeah.
basket is just obviously overflowing, and it's becoming
Yep.
a floordrobe
Yep.
of dirty washing.
Yep.
I definitely need them evening. Maybe we should just end the podcast and just have a evening.
Evening. Gonna go put some washing on.
Fucking hell.
Oh, God.
But yeah, that was on my list. And then one thing that I wanted to talk to you about, and this is going to be a
Right.
proper. This might spark a debate. I don't know.
That probably means
But
it will. Go on.
ever since starting my personal training Instagram, I've obviously just inundated with reels with all about exercise.
Yeah.
And it's unreal because a lot of them contradict each other. A lot of them, there's so much hype over high rocks at the minute.
Yeah.
It's unreal. And I just don't understand where the fuck it's come about. And if you were to advertise it as high rocks, you have to pay someone somewhere in the world. But you could just advertise it as something else, but do exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's fine.
Yeah. So it's following the similar format of
CrossFit.
what CrossFit was initially. So if you want to open a CrossFit gym, you have to pay, I don't know what the right term is, royalties, I suppose, to CrossFit as a company. I mean, comparing the two, CrossFit and High Rocks, I would say you're far less likely to get injured doing High Rocks than CrossFit. And again, it's not because CrossFit does any particular exercises which are awful. I think it's how they're programmed together a lot of the time, and how certain exercises are performed, like what they're chasing. So Stuart McGill he did a lot of work with powerlifters way back when, but he's been seeing a lot of people coming through with back injuries from CrossFit. You know, people see the kipping pull-ups, they assume rotator cuff injuries, but there are CrossFit has things like they're called WODs, like workout of the day, where you'll see things like Olympic lifts like clean and jerk and snatch, which require massive amounts of core stability, comboed with things like burpees where there is spinal flexion, but then they're repeating and going to the other. So the two don't really tally up, and it causes back problems essentially. High rocks, there's a lot of ski erg, there's a lot of wall balls. Obviously, TJ's planning to do one in the gym. A lot of running as well, but it's kind of like a mixture between cardio and weighted interval training, I suppose.
But what I just don't understand is you could call it like so if TJ's doing it, TJ could just call it like TJ's workout, do exactly the same thing as high rock stuff, but don't use the word high rocks, and you haven't got to pay anyone a fucking anything.
Yeah, I mean they've played it well.
It's just the name.
They've come up with a catchy name and they've branded it as this competitive, accessible thing. You know, all the exercises are accessible regardless of what your fitness level are. You know, you can scale the weights up and down, but you just have to go until you complete the thing. So on that basis, then you've got a metric to actively improve against. So it's clever in that way. And CrossFit is kind of similar because they used to name, so CrossFit as the whole thing, but they used to name their individual workouts like Murph, Cindy, I think is another one.
Yeah.
Fran is another one. They've all got funny names.
But maybe we should create one ourselves called Between Sets, where actually you do a workout, but instead of resting between sets, you do like a HIIT workout in between. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, you could just do that. And then once it catches on, then you just go, away. Actually, that's what I've made. I'll sue you or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the thing is,
weird, isn't it?
I think you have to be quite careful because all this stuff is very much like it's just rebranding the same stuff, right? Yeah. So my Metcon class, for all intents and purposes, it's similar exercise to CrossFit, but I'm not putting things together that are going to injure people.
Yeah,
that's it in a nutshell. You know, you're doing some cardio work, you're doing some weighted work. There's some bodyweight movements involved. It's in slightly different orders to what you'd see in some of the workout of the days and all this kind of thing. But there's a lot of carryover to high rocks as well. So it's nothing new. There's nothing.
Yeah, this is what I just understand.
It's all the same movements. You know,
just people are quite sheepish, aren't they? Not sheepish.
100%.
They just follow each other and go, "Oh, high rocks is in now."
Yep.
And I'm like, yeah, but it's just a workout, mate. At the end of the day, you're still going to be burning calories. You're still going to be building. Like, it's just a HIIT workout where you're just skiing. What's that going to benefit? Unless you go and skiing, it's not going to benefit you that much.
You will see some CrossFit gyms buying into the branding of high rocks, and then you'll have combo CrossFit and high rocks gyms because they've already got all the equipment. They've got all the bars. They've got skiers. They've got rowers. The one thing they're probably lacking is a load of treadmills because most CrossFitters will just run outside if they want to run. You don't see many treadmills in CrossFit gyms. I don't think. I've not been to many, but
and if there are, they're going to be those proper treadmills, like those look like circular ones, like a hamster's wheel.
I think one of the best things that people could probably start up if they wanted to create a fad which will get people really strong and athletic would actually be some kind of gymnastics named branding thing. Because if you look at male gymnasts, they basically look how most men want to look. You know, they're completely jacked. And if you look at female gymnasts, they mostly look like how women want to look. That it just is the sport. It requires you to be very strong and athletic.
Yeah.
If you can find a format to get people into that, then away you go.
Yeah, like Core, the gym that we went to the other week, they had, I'm not sure if they were still up, but yeah, they had those rings.
Yep.
And they're quite good. I used to do gymnastics when I was a kid. I did love it, to be fair. Like, cause it's just dealing with body weight.
Yeah, 100%.
Managing your own body weight.
I mean, I can do ring pull-ups and I can do ring dips, but that's largely as far as I can go. Like if you see how difficult it is to do an iron cross, you know, holding a ring out, that's unbelievably difficult to do.
So I used to be able to do that when I was a kid, but obviously now I'm 17 and a half stone and it's very different. Very different.
Yeah, tricky, real tricky.
But yeah, where else did you go to on holiday? We're kind of like deterred. There must be. I mean,
there's a lot of driving.
So where would you drink it? At home or out?
Yeah, mostly at home. So it's more like evening type stuff.
I'm evening, yeah.
Yeah. I was making cocktails for people and myself. I was on side as a lot.
Or was you the butler in the bath? Was you?
Oh, not quite naked, but yeah. I was thinking as like, again, I had this, my brain started ticking like, I could go out and do these evenings where I teach people to make cocktails. No, I
Yeah,
think I genuinely could do that. But again, I'm thinking, well, when am I going to do this? When in my
yeah.
schedule is this happening?
The thing
I could
is, as
probably
well,
do
what
like
I've
one.
struggled with, and I know it's something like week one, right? But obviously, so I'm fuzzy logic, right? Where I'm like a
Yep,
business technology expert, theoretically, is what I'm selling myself as, right? So I'll come in
yep,
and I will revolutionize your business. And then I'm a PT. And it's just so odd. In my head, it's like being a cleaner and being like, I don't know, like a coder. I don't know. It's just really weird, isn't it? The two
yeah.
very different sort of businesses. So it is hard for me to like, I don't know, when I'm dealing with people that know that I'm doing both of them, are they
Hmm.
going to take me seriously as one or neither or both? Do you know what I mean? Because it's like,
I mean,
I
if
don't
I were
know.
to rationalize that, it's, fuzzy logic is working on processes essentially, utilizing technology to put the best processes in place for a company, person, whatever it happens to be. It's exactly the same for personal training. You are finding the best tools to put processes in place
Yeah,
to get that person to do what they need to do. That's all it
look at
is.
you.
I know,
Look at you selling it, mate. Maybe
right?
I should hire you. But yeah, but so like a lot of the things at the minute, I'm web designing. People want web
Mhm.
designers, and I'm being tagged in so many Facebook posts where people are requesting for web designers, which is really
Mm.
nice. Like I've not been around that long, and people are already recommending me. But I'm like, have you ever met a personal trainer that's also a professional web designer? It's just really weird.
It's a strange niche that
It
you've made
is.
yourself there. It's good
It's
though.
really odd. Like a lot of obviously a lot of PTs now, especially online coaches, are also social media
Hmm.
experts. They're called, aren't they? Because
Yeah,
they've obviously had to build a brand themselves. They learned the hard way,
yeah,
and but a lot of them are using these softwares, which are all on your phone, like Canva. Is it called?
yeah. Canva, yeah.
Canva is very popular, which is like I've not used it properly yet. I've looked into it, but it's
Mm.
quite expensive. And it's not great quality. But obviously, you haven't got to use your computer; you can just do it all on your phone. So it
Yeah,
swings around about. It's
I've
quite,
used the free version of that for a few things, but never anything crazy. But I'm not big into social media. That's the thing. I don't enjoy doing
yeah.
it. I don't like posting stuff. Um, yeah, I mean,
But
it's
you've done
one.
quite
It's
well. Like, and the thing is, like, you're really good. But you're an amazing PT, right? But you've done really well at building a client base without using too much social media, because that is just like
yeah.
the done thing now, isn't it? As for
Mm,
PTs, like if you research like how do I become a PT and how do I become successful, the number one thing is you have to be all over social media.
yeah. I think the route I've gone is definitely the hard path. I will say that. Um,
Yeah.
because I've had to. I think the way that I've posted a lot. If I was a PT starting again now and just posting things, people will kind of see that and associate that with, well, does he actually believe in this, or is he being paid to say this? Is it a sponsored advert,
Mm,
or whatever happens to be? Like, whereas I've tried to go down the route of impartiality in terms of what I'm looking at, but then be honest in terms of what I think. If that makes sense, like I prefer the
yeah.
scientific approach. If there is, so for instance, I'm not a fan of CrossFit. I like a lot of what they do, but I don't like it. We've talked about it a few times.
Yeah.
However, if someone now turns around and says, no, this is the single best way to train, then I'm going to have to flip on a dime and start training people in CrossFit and get good at it myself.
Yeah.
It's not likely because the amount of injuries that people get. And
Yeah.
again, there's a lot of good stuff they do. I'm not knocking it completely, but you see where I'm going with it.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah.
I
Like,
think if you,
yeah. It's a trend thing, isn't it?
yeah,
I didn't realize how much of a trend thing it was going to be
oh,
with
100%.
all
I
this
mean,
stuff.
we talked about this briefly as an idea. I think we could do this as a collaboration. We start a separate Instagram page, a separate Instagram
I'm
fitness
not
page,
creating another fucking page, man. I've got 5 pages at the minute.
but we put together sort of, and we'll be honest with people and say, look, we're doing this as an experiment, right? We'll do this on our own pages and say this is an
Mm,
experiment to see how effective these fads are at getting people to follow an Instagram page, and we'll go down the route of, we'll do all the most the most common and popular reels, posts, whatever.
mm,
We'll post things about do Weight Watchers to lose weight or whatever else, and just see what happens. Just see what happens. And I'm willing to bet that it will get far more followers on that basis because people are researching these strange trends than actually looking at the correct advice.
Yeah.
Because people just they're drawn to it, and I don't get it.
Yeah, and this is it. Like it reminded me. Actually, I was speaking to my wife about this earlier. Do you remember the apparently kid? And apparently, and I've never done
Oh,
on TV
apparently,
before.
yeah,
That guy,
and
yeah.
yeah,
That's what it reminds me of because there's so many people out there when you talk to them about like, oh, how did you lose weight or how are you getting on, and they're just like, obviously they just used the internet. They haven't got a personal
hmm
trainer. And this isn't me bitching, but I'm just like the difference of having a personal trainer in your life. You can be confident with the knowledge that you're receiving, and you can be consistent with it, right? But if you're constantly googling and using reels, then it's
yeah,
going to change weekly because you're going to take one person's advice, and then you're not going to stick to that, and then you take the next person's advice. And what's funny about reels is like you show up to one reel, and that personal trainer will say to you, "There's nothing wrong with having like a Burger King every single day." Do you know what I mean? And then in their head, they're
yeah,
like, "Oh, okay, all right. Then I love that. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll have Burger King every day then." But
yeah,
then you
yeah,
speak to people, and then they're like, "And apparently, I need to fast because I've listened to a video and I've got to fast for 8 hours." You
yeah,
think, just fucking shut the fuck up, mate. Like, just stop
yeah.
it.
It is exactly that. It's unfortunately it's the most readily available source of information that
Yeah,
people have, and they can't be asked to look beyond this.
yeah.
Like that's it. Now,
Like I
what you
have to
can
say, like
do,
if it works for you, like it's just like Weight Watchers and thingy, right? If it and being and like believing in psychics, right?
Mhm.
Just yeah, like if it works for you and you're happy, wait, and you're
Yep,
happy,
yep,
then fully on board with it.
yep.
But there'll be a time
On that
where, yeah,
basis, yes, I agree. What I think would be a really useful thing for a lot of people to do would be to actively start to follow. Really, if it's Instagram, for example, really start to follow and dial in on really good Instagram pages. So,
yeah,
research-led approach. Genuinely educated people. So, off the top of my head, in terms of bodybuilding, I like Dr. Mike Israetel,
I think I started
Jeff
following him
Nippard.
actually.
Jeff Nippard is also really, really good, very science based. In terms of, I mean, he's a medical doctor, but he covers, there's a lot of crossover into fitness as well. There's a doctor called Dr. Joey Munoz, I forget which one is. Um, Again, very knowledgeable, goes into fitness
Yeah,
and talks about a lot of things. Unfortunately, if you would follow those types of people, you start to see the correct side of the picture. You then see some of these other posts from the likes of Gary Brecker, where you'll go, oh no, hang on, this guy has no idea what the fuck he's talking about. Get rid of him. And that's the next step. So you've got good, credible sources of information who can be trusted because they are, medically qualified, research led. Cool, nice. Let's get that good information. And then when you start to see some other stuff pop up where it now starts to sound a little bit wrong, you go, okay, well, I'm going to follow this person because he's contradicting what the educated people are
yeah,
talking about. And then suddenly your social media starts to level up a little bit. It starts to become useful, for lack of a better word.
yeah. It is understanding the science behind it all. I do agree with all that. Like I don't, and if you don't know how it works, then maybe research it more. I don't know. That's my advice, I'd say.
Yeah,
But like people are, as you say, like people haven't got time to do that, and people will just go, right, I'm going to do this because it works for my mate, or yeah, like I know someone that like Weight Watchers lost 3 stone. I'm going to go down that route.
yeah,
But everyone's so different. But at least with science and the calorie deficit, like that's all factual. Like at the end of the day,
it's
the
physics.
less
You can't
calories,
break
yeah,
it. It's the
exactly.
law of thermodynamics.
Whereas with Weight Watchers and Slimming World, believe it or not, you'll join Slimming World or Weight Watchers today, and then let's just say you cancel it because it's shit. In 2 years' time, you'll rejoin it, and it's a completely different fucking diet, mate. You got
Yeah,
like potatoes are now more points or less points, or like pasta's free, and it's just like what? This is completely different than it was 2 years ago. And
yeah.
that's because they're making
Now,
shit up. They're making it as they fucking go along.
yeah,
It's mental.
yeah. Now, in fairness, if you were to look at a diet today in terms of developing a calorie deficit, the principle of that calorie deficit shouldn't change. However, science does change. But
Yeah.
the nice thing about it is it changes, and it's a credible source of change. It's okay, here's some evidence to say that this needs to change. Cool,
Yeah.
let's go down that route. And on that basis, it was why I have so much confidence in saying I train this way now. It's different to how I trained 5 years ago. Very different. And
Yeah.
how I train now will be different to in another 5 years. I'd like to think I'll be much more um, efficient in terms of what I'm doing and why I'm choosing certain things. And there'll be new stuff in there because sports science, especially, is it's still relatively new. Like if you go back to the
Yeah.
1970s, you've got bodybuilders doing exercises because they know they work. But there was a lot of crap in there as well. Now the good stuff has kind of been carried over in sports science, and we've started to improve on it. So off the top of my head, another one in terms of biomechanics, if you want to follow him, is a guy called Ben Yanes on Instagram. I might do a post on this actually.
Yeah.
Once
Do
this
that.
goes live, I'll do an Instagram post and I'll tag the Instagram page. So if you want to follow these people, I'll put a list together of some who I think are really really changing
Helpful.
things.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, you have to be able to back up what you're saying. If you can't, then why are you doing it?
This is it. And it's really hard. Like you said this the other day, I'm not sure if it was on the podcast or not, but like science hasn't really kind of given us the answer as to like how hypertrophy, like I say hypertrophy, or
Yeah,
whatever you
yeah,
want to pronounce it, like the actual reasoning as to why your muscles grow,
yep,
like they haven't really explained. They
yeah,
know like almost how in a way, like with tension and bodybuilding, etc., etc.
yep.
But the actual science behind like why it's happening,
No one knows, and that's the
no one
thing. We
knows.
know the routes to get there. We understand that pretty well at this stage. It's still changing. Like
Yeah, and obviously
the
it's a
big thing at
genetic
the
thing, right? As well,
oh
if
yeah,
people don't
100%. There's
understand that.
genetic element involved in everything in our body, and the big thing in terms of sports science at the moment is stretch mediated hypertrophy. Is a really big thing at the moment. Like taking a muscle through its full range of motion, but loading that process, and that elicits more muscle growth. Um, but you'll see social media gurus and influencers and all this kind of stuff saying, "Oh yeah, this does this for hypertrophy." Well, tell me how. Tell me the mechanism because you're
Yeah,
leagues ahead of where the best scientists in the world are.
and that's all
Like,
we can advise as personal trainers as well. Is we can just obviously research and
yeah, I can
provide
tell
you
you
with the
how we
most
get
up to
there,
date
but I can't
knowledge.
tell you the mechanism for it, and nobody can. And if they can genuinely tell me, I want to have a
Yeah,
conversation with them because they are they're top notch. Let's go. Let's have a chat.
I've got it's been an hour already. Jesus.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Well, I was going to mention one thing about nutrition,
Go on.
and obviously, so what I'm specializing in really is people that have kind of not been to the gym before, or they're really struggling with their weight gain, or they're really struggling to gain muscle. Um, and I feel like the fundamental side of it is with the weight loss, especially,
Hmm.
is like calorie tracking. Obviously, is like the most fundamental part of a diet and a calorie deficit. Obviously, because you don't know whether you're in a deficit or not unless you're tracking.
Yeah.
Especially when you're in the habit, because it is at the end of the day, it's a habit. Like eating before bed, you're not actually probably hungry. Your body is telling you you're hungry because you've eaten before bed over the last 6 to 12 months. It's kind of in your head in a way, isn't it? It's a muscle memory, right? But the fundamental side of the whole macro side of it, like introducing macros to someone who's never been on a diet before, or is even scared of the thought of going, right, how am I going to track my calories? And then you go, oh, you've just thrown all these fucking macros in the mix as well. And like, have I got to have more of my vitamins? Because if you go into MyFitnessPal, for instance, and go into the actual breakdown, it is extremely overwhelming. Whereas I'm kind of, the way that I'm attacking it is going, right, stick to your calories, whatever this science based app is telling you. Let's just say it's 2,500 calories a day, right?
Hmm.
Stick to that. But what I also need you to think about is hitting your 2 grams of protein per kilogram that you weigh. That's all. That's all you need to think about. And then obviously over time, they'll slowly introduce like the right amount of carbs and the right amount of fats and etc. etc. Whereas I
Yeah.
feel like protein's definitely the number. As long as you're within your calories and hitting your protein, you're probably likely going to be getting your fats and carbohydrates anyway. So let's just focus on one thing, and that's protein. Because obviously, if you don't have that protein, you're not going to be bodybuilding. And the protein actually provides you with more satisfaction whilst you're eating. Like you're going to be fuller for longer.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. The
Anyway,
most
sorry, I'm shut up now.
satiating, the most satiating macro is protein, basically. So it fills you up more. But yeah,
Yeah,
that's spot on. To an extent, I'm not going to say it doesn't matter because it does. But for most people, the balance of carbohydrates and fats largely doesn't matter so long as you're within your calorie allowance. Now, certain people will actively try to eat a more carbohydrate heavy diet because that's their preference. Other people will lean more towards fat. So long as they're not going over, then it doesn't really make much difference. The protein does make a difference, and it is measurable how much of a difference it makes.
yeah,
The only time you would want to really focus in on carbohydrate and fat intake is largely if you're going towards the extremes,
yeah.
either in
Like
terms of performance
running and stuff.
or in body composition. Yeah, so certainly for like marathon running, you can go down the route of like carbohydrate loading. You start to look at like salt intake and things like this, and certainly some people will actually bring their carbohydrate right down if they're doing ultra marathons because they're
Yeah,
running on body fat stores. And now my personal argument for that is dietary fat does not equate to body fat. They're relatively lean people, so it's a null point in my opinion. But likewise, if you go down the bodybuilding route, you're manipulating carbohydrate intake pre-show as well to reduce water intake and to like how much water your body's holding to bring that down. People actually use alcohol before a show as well to really dehydrate themselves.
yeah,
Yeah, it's interesting, but for day-to-day people, yeah, focus on protein. It's the easiest life hack. That and
yeah.
creatine.
Creatine. Yeah, people still haven't really heard of that. To be honest, they've not, especially if they've not been to the gym before. But yeah, it makes a big difference because
I saw a
creatine
funny
is
post
the
on that.
energy source that you're using when you're doing bodybuilding, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. And you can't get enough of it from your diet either, so you have to supplement it. It's not
Yeah,
like protein where you have to have a protein shake because you can eat that protein. Creatine, you're never going to get enough of it from dietary sources, i.e., meat, for example. I saw a funny post on this where there's a funny Instagram page you might like called Scientists with a Board, and he basically goes on to influencer pages and kind of calls them out on some of their stuff. And he goes, and he just put a post on this guy that was selling creatine. And he goes, yeah, creatine's really important, really important. And he goes, what is creatine? He goes, creatine's a chemical. It's chemical, bro. It's just creatine. Creatine is creatine. Well, it's not. Creatine is 3 amino acids. It's
yeah.
glycine, arginine, and methionine. It's chemicals. Like you need to know what's in this stuff to know how it functions.
If you're going
If
to
you
be
don't know
selling it,
that, why
especially,
are you selling it? Yeah,
you're going to be selling your product. You need to know what the fuck it is, mate.
and
That's
that is honestly
hilarious.
that's like A level biology. You can go and do that little
Yeah,
bit of research. You don't have to do a whole A level in it, but you can do the research to find out what it is,
but
especially if they're selling it.
it's again, it's people jumping on a trend thing, and I think that's what like. But the most fundamental thing as well about the gym and going to the gym, and I'm hoping people that are listening to this that I'd like classify themselves as gym rats understand, is that you leave the ego at the door as soon as you walk in, right? Because that
Mhm.
is the way to have sustainability. You're not going to get injured, and you can be more consistent because you're focusing more on form rather than showing everyone that you can fucking lift 140 kilograms or whatever. But it's the same thing with trends. I think like you shouldn't be going in going, oh, I'm taking these fucking what's the word, pre-workout because everyone else is, and like they're the most selling one on Amazon or whatever. Like, no, that's not. Like, in the day, right? You can have a fucking coffee. Just have a coffee half an hour before you go to the gym, mate.
Yep.
Like, don't jump on everyone's bandwagon. Like, if you don't feel like
100%.
that coffee's enough for you, if you feel like you're not getting 100% performance after coffee half an hour before the gym, then potentially look at it. But before you do that, review how long you've slept for. Review what you're eating. Because like if you're like I jumped on I did a little energy drink thing on my page this morning,
Yeah, I saw that.
and people were suggesting these energy drinks and pre-workouts, and one of them was like 400 milligrams of caffeine for
Yep.
one little drink, and I'm like, that is an unbelievable amount. That's
Yep.
like what, 7 coffees in one drink?
Yeah. I mean, so I think the the effective dose for caffeine in terms of sports performance, I think, is about 3 milligrams per kilo body weight, roughly
Okay.
speaking. So,
So that's why, yeah, okay.
75 kilo individual would need 225 milligrams caffeine. Anything above that is just going to make you hyperactive and you'll get the crash afterwards, essentially.
Yeah.
Um, but on that note as well, so I've been doing some research on the interactions between caffeine and creatine. So a lot of pre-workouts these days, including the one I'm currently using, by the way, contains creatine in it. Now, in terms of ease of use, I also add additional creatine, so I'm having that on a daily basis. But there's an interaction which is becoming more studied now where creatine actually inhibits the uptake of caffeine into your system. So having creatine in a pre-workout could actually be limiting how much caffeine your body's able to absorb from that pre-workout and kind
Yeah.
of wasting it. So you're actually better off putting your creatine elsewhere in your day and just having a
Yeah.
caffeine focused, admittedly with like L-carnitine or beta-alanine, so on and so on.
It does kind of make sense though, like to kill two birds with one stone. Like I put my creatine in my protein powder and
Yep.
have it post workout. But in my head, I'm thinking, why don't people just sell protein powder with creatine in? But
I mean, they do.
obviously, like,
They do. So
oh,
if
do
you were
they?
to go
They do.
through, if
Okay.
you were to get a mass gainer, uh, I say protein powder because it's largely carbohydrate. Um, but yeah,
Okay.
they'll include creatine in that as well.
This kind of makes sense in a way, unless science prevails and just says, like, yeah, actually, you should be having creatine outside. Like, you should be having creatine with carbs or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
not sure what the. Yeah, I don't know if that's been studied or not. So that could be interesting. What is the best time to when is the best time to take
again,
that supplement?
yeah, and like protein powder, like there's obviously a maximum intake, right? Like I watched this guy on fucking TikTok the other day
Mm.
drink I think it was 30 raw eggs, which is like ridiculous. Like I think it was like 1,200 grams of protein within 12 seconds. And funnily enough, he ended the video just as he finished it. Like I was thinking, I really want to watch you for 10 hours now. I just want to
You're just
watch
going to
you
be
around.
sick.
Yeah,
Well,
like I want to
I mean, I'll
be
put
in
it
the
this
fly in
way:
the room.
like you. So there was this thing that comes around where there was a study done which said that the maximum amount of protein your body can utilize per hour is 30
Yeah.
grams. Right now,
Yeah, that does change
people.
every now and again. Like I've seen like studies like 50 grams I've seen, but yeah.
But this is where people will read these studies and completely get the arse end of the stick, basically. So they looked at so a lot of PTs and sports scientists looked at this study and they said, "Oh, that means you can only have 30 grams of protein per serving, and that means you now need loads of meals to get your protein in a day." No, that's not what it means. It means your body can absorb 30 grams of protein per hour. But if you eat a steak, right, that's
Mm,
if you have a good sized steak, there's about 100 grams of protein in that. Okay, it's like a conveyor belt system. Your body will take 30 grams from that per hour, and it will just keep taking
yeah.
as this steak is going along the conveyor belt that is your intestines, right? It doesn't just the steak doesn't hit your insides. It takes 30 grams and then it fires out of you. That's not the way that works.
Yeah.
So this is complete misinterpretation of
Yeah. People
information.
don't
You know?
realize though, like how long it takes for food to exit the body though.
Mm.
Like it can take up to 72 hours. It's like what is it?
Yeah,
Is it between 2 and 3 days or 1 and 3 days or whatever?
yeah.
But like,
So
yeah.
yeah, they're just misinterpreting that. But equally, then at the other end of the spectrum, this guy that's necking 1,200 grams of protein, whatever it is, that's just
Yeah.
dumb. And there's a reason
It's
he ended
just
that video
ridiculous.
because that would have been firing out of him, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no way there's no way that's gonna be a happy ending for
No,
anyone.
no, nothing
Um
good is happening from that.
But I've lowered, so I was doing 50 grams of protein in protein shakes, and
Hmm.
I've lowered it down to 30 because I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I don't think, like long term, obviously I've been doing it for what, 8 months now. I'm just
Hmm.
like, I don't think this has benefited me. For one, I'm still hungry, no matter if I take 50 or 30 anyway. So I'm probably better off having a protein bar like 2 hours afterwards and
Yep.
up my protein that way. Because it's still calories at the end of the day. Even if it's just a cup of fucking powder,
Yeah,
it's still what,
100%.
250 calories.
Yep.
So you're better off spreading it, especially if you're trying to do some sort of calorie deficit, spread it rather than just go, oh, I'm a big man because I've got 100 gram fucking protein shake.
Yep.
Like you're just following a trend now. I saw you doing. You just wanted to post on Instagram. Do you know what I mean? It does my head in a little bit. It does make it. Like if you find it's like brands and clothes. If you find a t-shirt that you like that fits you, fucking
Stay
wear
with
it.
it. Yep.
Don't go to fucking I don't know Hugo Boss and go, oh, like I'm not comfortable in it, but everyone knows I'm rich now. Do you know what I mean? It just does my nut. It just does my nut in.
I'm still looking for
You
pairs
do
of jeans
you.
that I can find and wear. I can't wear jeans anymore, man. It's
Why?
bad. Because if I buy a pair of jeans that fits me around the waist, I can't get my legs into them. I don't have particularly big legs; they're just awkward shaped, I would say.
Yeah.
But then equally, if I buy a pair of jeans which I can get over my legs comfortably, I just have to have a belt which is like uncomfortably tight to keep them on.
Do you? What about the
It's a
flexi
pain.
jeans? Have you
Yeah,
like the
they're like
flexible
skinny
sort of
jeans,
denim?
right?
No, they don't have to be skinny jeans. No.
Right.
But like, if they're advertised as like flexible, like
Mm,
stretchy, sorry, they should be all right. Like all I
okay.
wear now is skinny jeans. I won't lie, and I find them quite comfortable.
Right.
Because I feel like I don't know, they're just more comfortable. But like Eminem, go on Eminem Direct,
Yep.
and at least you can return them as well. But
Okay.
yeah, most of them are like stretchy sort of jeans, and yeah, I found a brand, Police.
Yep.
They always fit me around the buttocks quite nicely.
Yep. Okay.
Anyway,
I'll do some
we'll end it
research
on the quick
on
Eminem
those.
Direct sort of advert and my buttocks. Yeah, God, it's been an hour and 10 minutes. Good catching up. Anyway,
Yeah.
so next
Fun.
week we've got behind the curtain. We've got 2 interviews to do next week,
Mm-hmm.
haven't we? On
We do.
Monday, which will be aired on Friday, we are interviewing. I think we mentioned it in the last podcast. One of the strongest women in the country. She's an absolute machine.
Yeah.
And on Friday, which will be being uploaded in 2 weeks' time, or 3 weeks' time, really,
Yep.
will be what's her name? Sorry,
Alice.
Alice Nicholson.
Yep.
Is that
Alice
right?
Nicholson. She is getting ready for her first bodybuilding competition. Uh, I want to get this right. It's bikini competition, I believe. So she's in her prep phase at the moment. So we'll check in, see how she's getting on. Inevitably
Nice.
hungry, bored of cardio, miserable. So we're getting
Yeah.
there at the right time.
Yeah, that's where Georgie is. Like, if anybody listened to that, one of our first guests,
Mm-hmm.
Georgie, he's coming up to her competition soon, and
Yep.
she's looking
She's lean.
lean.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like she's only eating those soybean bars again because she is so skinny. It's unreal.
Yeah.
But yeah, the veins popping out of her. It's just unreal. And she's gone through a few, like, as you would imagine, she's gone through quite a few dark phases of
Mm.
like, because it does to you. If you're not getting the right nutrients, if you're not eating enough, your body's relying on that. Your hormones are, and yeah, she's going through some dark stuff, and she's quite lucky. She's got so many followers helping her and like pushing her through it, which is absolutely amazing. And obviously, she's come this far. It'd be an absolute shame to let that get to you. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see how she gets on. And she's agreed to come on after her
Mm.
competition, which would be really good to see that contrast. I did ask her to come on again, like just before, just to see where her mind's at,
Yeah.
which was a bit of a cheeky ask. And she obviously says, "Can you just wait, please?
Yeah.
like,
Leave me alone.
yeah, leave me alone. I'm not in a great place." It does sound tough to do that, doesn't it? Like, I don't know if I'd ever be in that right mindset of going, right, I'm going to dedicate my whole year to just for this one competition, which I'm having to pay for anyway,
Yeah.
just to prove to myself, I guess, that I
I
can do
mean,
it.
I think the way I would pitch it to people, the way I would describe it to people is there's no gun to your head. No one's making you do this. So
No,
if you don't want
yeah,
to do it, don't do it.
yeah,
Because
you're doing it for yourself. Yeah,
it will be miserable. There will be times where you're going to be thinking, why in God's name am I putting myself through this, starving myself while still training and trying to make myself look better in the mirror, all the while I know that I'm literally wasting away. If you don't want to
yeah.
do it, don't do it. If there's any doubt in your mind,
It's,
don't do it.
it's going to be an amazing contrast, I think, for the listeners, is the fact that we're going to have one of the strongest women in the country
Mm-hmm.
who isn't about physique and look. She's more about lifting heavy objects. So she's
She's
obviously
strong.
eating a lot. She is extremely strong. And funnily enough, she's got another business, a sports massage therapist, which is obviously what you do as well. So it'll be a really good conversation to have, I think, on Monday.
Yeah.
But yeah, we will see you guys next week for that episode. And yeah, enjoy your week. I hope you guys didn't eat too much chocolate over the weekend.
I've got so much chocolate to eat through, man. It's all just
have you still
there.
got loads of chocolate? The thing is, I ate all my chocolate within a day, and now Ted's obviously got like 6 eggs left, and I'm just staring at them like, oh, you can't eat all
Hurry up.
Do you want a hand?
Yeah. Yeah, I've come home and they're all just sitting there staring at me.
Yeah, I think I'm not really a chocolate man either. And
don't lie.
Because they're there.
Don't lie.
I'm not. I go through phases.
What was that thing you told me with the Toblerone?
Oh, the mini eggs. Oh, yeah.
Was it mini
eggs?
I
go through phases. Yeah. It's phases, mate. All right.
Don't
go for chocolate phase.
Don't chat shit.
I'm just a fat prick. That's what I am. Right, guys. Yeah, and if you're listening to this and you're not following us on Instagram, we are also on Facebook. We're on Facebook now. Between Sets Podcast. Look us up. If you just search for Between Sets Podcast, we're on all the major podcasting platforms. If you want to Google us, we are right at the top now as well. So you can find us anywhere. So please follow us. It helps us obviously update you guys with the episodes. And if you know anyone that would like to be a guest, or if you know anyone that would be a great guest, then we can add them to the list. They probably won't be aired until June at this point in time.
We've got a few people to be getting through.
Yeah, but no, it's really good. Thanks for listening, guys. Especially if you're listening to this point where we're an hour and a quarter in. And have a great week, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.